Hello and welcome to an episode. I think this is the first episode of A Fat Perspective, and this is the podcast that is created for all bodies. So we talk about all bodies all day. And if you're someone like me who is currently a fat person, this is for you. Or if you were formerly a fat person, this is also for you, because we really want to create a space where we could talk about the things that people don't usually talk about when it comes to bodies. And with me, I have my dear friend Steph Maz. She is an amazing actor and one of my favorite people on planet Earth. She says she's a self-proclaimed, forever fat girl?
That's right. Forever.
And it's really good to have you on. Thank you for coming.
For having me.
Our society places so much value on the status of a body.
I came to so many conclusions just this week about how body positivity is about the celebration of uniqueness, about our own individual bodies and how they are precious to us in our little way, right?
I'm going to jump in because I actually don't love the term body positivity, even though I fully thank it for the awareness it has raised for so many people. And the main reason is because I don't think that we necessarily need to tie in a morality or a positive attachment to our bodies.
That's fair.
What if I want to be positive about my body? But here's the thing, though. I do not have to subscribe to the value system that creates my relationship with my body. So that's why I always say not body positivity, but body liberation.
That's really great. Yeah.
We're liberating ourselves from the systems, the beliefs, and the thoughts that keep us running in that circle. I have to like my body. I have to like my body. I have to like my body. You don't have to.
That's so true. Oh my God, that is so true. That is sincerely a huge part of what I grappled with before my surgery. I guess we can get into that later, but
since we're talking about it, give everyone context what you're
so 5 months ago, I actually had a skin removal surgery. I had a tummy tuck and it removed a lot of skin from my midsection, and it was due to a giant weight loss. I was at my heaviest, I was 230 pounds, and I got down all the way to 160, and it was it was the wildest experience I've ever gone through in my life. But I grappled so much beforehand because I knew that the work was mental, it was emotional, it was spiritual, it was something very personal that I had to go through. And I grappled so much with, I should love my body. And it's not that I never did. It's not that I didn't. I mean, I sat there and I was like, my body has done so much excellence for me. I put it through the ringer with fitness, with diets, with fad diets when I first started dieting. I mean, I have done literally every fad diet in the book because I grew up in a time that said I had to be skinny. And then now I'm in a time where I have to be curvy. And it's I've been told what I need to be.
90s.
Yeah, all
stupid
throughout
90s.
my life, and I was chubby my whole life. I have always had a battle with weight. And it was a battle because I've had different people and different, TV and doctors and my parents and society and the kids and the bullies. They all tell me how I should be. When body positivity started to be a thing, it was oh, I should just love everything about my body. And if I don't, then I'm wrong
with you.
Right, exactly. And then when I made the decision to have the tummy tuck, I really sat there for a long time, and I'm but I should love it how it is. And then I had myself a cry. I talked to my mom. I talked to a ton of people, and it's but I do love my body. I just feel I have worked so hard to get to where I am, and I just want to show it was a completion. It was my congratulations to myself. You know what I mean? It wasn't that I didn't love my body. I just wanted to feel comfortable in my own skin.
You exercise, your body, your choice, girl.
I mean, really, at the end of the day, I was I can't sit here and feel bad because I am making a move for myself that I know deep in my heart is not a fix. I wasn't trying to fix anything. I knew that I had to do that work, and it had nothing to do with my physical appearance. I didn't want surgery to fix me. I just wanted to get to a place where I was like, here I am.
Well, it's kind of an assistance because there's only so far your natural weight loss and things will do for your body. Like there's only so much. Like, so everyone knows I used to be 370 pounds. Woo, Nelly. I think I'm 290 now. I don't remember. And I will keep, I'll keep dropping slowly, steadily, slowly because my hormones are out of whack, as I found out. And comes a point where my skin will be like, we can't do this. And then as an adult, we can make a choice whether or not we want to remove the skin or keep it. I mean, and as you were saying that, I was thinking about, just like the value that we place on ourselves, like the positive, negative. And I mean, even as you were saying that, I was like, well, do we, like, maybe we do love ourselves, but love doesn't mean we're okay with something, right? Like, we still love and we're like, I love and appreciate myself. And then, like, I can still change. Like, so much of our conversations on our bodies are so binary. Well,
everything is binary, right? Everything is.
I mean, and
we love doing that shit. We love putting shit in boxes, and there can only be two. There can only be two. That's it.
But that's the way our brains are wired, and that's okay because we love sorting. And one of the first things kids learn at school is sorting, and yay, and right. However, it's like, can we begin to foster an and conversation with ourselves? Like, I can love myself and encourage myself to change while I'm uncomfortable.
Exactly. Like, I followed a lot of girls who had gone through plastic surgery, because I really extensively did so much research, right? Because there was like conflict inside of me. And then I also was like terrified because it's major surgery. So there's a lot to think about. And I followed this girl who had gotten a tummy tuck. I still follow her. She's really great. And like, she dropped, over 100 pounds, and she's fit and she's so amazing. And just recently she posted a story where she's talking about her stretch marks. And she's like, they'll always be there. I don't love them, and I don't have to love them. No, because she got a lot of backlash for that, because social media is how it is. But she's like, it's okay. You don't have to agree with me, but I don't have to love them. I know they're there, and I accept that they're there, and I know they will not go in. And it's not something that I'm like, I hate myself because no, but I don't have to love them. I don't.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, she's right. She's right.
Yeah, I want to think on that. Can I not love a bit of part myself? Maybe I think I'm still in the camp of love versus like. So the difference between loving myself and like treasuring different parts of my body so that I'm not hating it. Because I guess then I would want to know what is it in the absence of love, right? Because to me, love is a choice of like acceptance, okay. I'm like, is love just like not hate? Because that's stupid.
No, the opposite of love's indifference, right? That is the opposite of it. It's like not being completely indifferent on the matter. I think hate is something it's not love and hate. Hate still harbors a sort of attachment and an emotion, right? You have an investment. So it's not that I feel like in terms of like my body, loving and liking, I really see the dichotomy there too, and like the spectrum of that, because it's, for me, like self-love and that umbrella is more like value that I place on me, on my terms, not because of, right? Not because of outside things telling me. Yeah. It is what I have come to the conclusion of. You have something to say. Go.
Because I was like, how like self-love is now like a toxic industry as well. Like, what is it about our society that we take all these things and we turn them toxic? It's because like, you have to love yourself. Me. And like, I gotta do self-care. And it's like, no, like,
if there is money to be had in
yes,
anything, if they
yes,
can bottle it and sell it to you, it will be done. And
yeah,
that is what makes a lot of this what has kernels in something that could be so good
yeah,
will always get muddied and become toxic because you put a monetary value on it. If you can bottle it and sell it, and you can bottle and sell anything, really. Like, I have seen the craziest shit sold to people because all we really want is someone to tell us what to do, someone to tell us how to do it, how to get there.
I mean, that's true because we've been, as a society, so cut off from our own listening that we are lost. My favorite author, Jane Austen, says we all have a better guide in ourselves if we attend to it than anyone else is. And we are so used to, like, we are so cut off from our bodies. We all live, and thanks to, and even more so now because of COVID, we live here up, right? Like, our whole life is about this. Our society loves our brain. It's like, yay, smart people. Yay!
Yeah.
What can you think about it? And then that's just this. There is the entire vessel that we still live in that gives us signals, that talks to us all day long, that we don't always pay attention to because it's not our brain. And even like scientific literature, where the things that I've been taught growing up is your brain, your brain. And then now it's like, oh, there's also a brain in your stomach. There's receptors, there's things like our body is a whole system. And by just thinking, we cut off everything, and then we don't know what we need because we're not listening.
Right.
So part of the us wanting outside feedback is because we're like, we don't know. And then because we haven't remembered how to listen. So
yeah, I mean, we don't pay attention too. That's the thing, is I think we numb out because it's overwhelming, I think, to sit there and be like, well, everyone else and everything else is telling me to be and do and say certain things and whatever. And now you're telling me to listen to me, and I don't know how. It is the lack of ability to connect, or maybe the lack of a want to connect to ourselves. Because then if we go internally, we have to deal with shit, right? We have to deal with our shit. And that's difficult.
Well, I mean, not dealing with it is also difficult because then we're
100%
like living life in an odd way.
I just told my friend this because he's going through some stuff, and he's like, oh, but it's hard. I'm like, I know, but like the way you are right now is also hard. Yeah. So it's like, choose your hard. One of them might make you different and feel better. The other is the same. Choose your hard.
Choose your hard. That's a great line.
For real. And like, really, like, anything that's worth doing is difficult.
I guess so. I mean, some things come easily to you or to me, and they're still worth doing.
Absolutely. But I'm saying, like, I guess I just feel like I've always known that change is hard because for a long time I've hated change. I mean, I think a lot of us do, right? But like, I hated change.
I don't either. I hung out in a job for 10 years going, I don't know what I want.
Yeah, I mean, right, exactly. And you know, you just get to a point where, again, you choose your heart.
And if we're cut off from our bodies, we don't know what it says. So there's this great exercise someone taught me. Her name is Marilyn. So she taught me. So all we do is we can put one exercise, put our hand over our heart and the other one over our bellies, and take a few breaths and just see what's going on. What do I want right now? And just lock in. It could be small. And then as I'm doing that, I'm like, ooh, my neck is tense. I probably want to stretch it later. And I want to keep talking to you.
Yes.
How about you?
I mean, that's so good though, right? Like, it really is. And that's like your breath. I'm always trying to get back to my breath because I know when I'm stressed out, you shallow out your breath and then you just continue like that fight or flight. And that's not good because cortisol and all that. Yeah. And it's like, getting back to your breath and being still is just, it's so crucial. And it's so scary sometimes, because then sometimes when you actually do listen and your body actually tells you like, hey man, we're dying here, like literally help.
Yeah.
It's scary because you're like, I don't know how. And then you just got to figure it out. You just got to figure it out.
Or our bodies will talk to us and tell us, and then we can either pay attention to it or ignore it and see, and then pay the consequences at some point.
In either direction. In either direction. You've got to be prepared to like pick your heart.
Pick your heart. Oh man. Yeah, I love that. So I guess what I would be really curious about talking to you a little bit more about is the idea, like, I think a lot of people come to be really judgy on people who've taken surgery to enhance their bodies or to, quote, fix some, I don't even know, maybe the word is adjust, to adjust something. Mm-hmm. And so then my question to you is, how could you hold both? The idea that I stand for body liberation or body positivity, whatever your word is, and I am choosing this for myself. We kind of addressed it, but I want to talk about it more because it's something I think a lot of people argue about.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest realization that I came to when I was healing and those first moments of recovery, because they were hard. Recovery was really hard. Like, they don't tell you that, they don't tell you that in the shows, but it's hard. And I knew it was going to test my will, my strength, everything. But what I realized when I was recovering was really how absolutely amazing my body was for me, having put it through yet another insane thing, a really drastic change, and it was healing. I was forced to listen at that point. It was telling me what it needed. It is because you are trying to gain a deeper connection to yourself. And you understand that for me, it was very much I'm still me. This is still my body. I'm just a little less of me. And I think that if you're making a change, it's you. It's just another version of you that you have chosen to explore. And it doesn't mean that I don't love the person or the body I had. Now I'm just learning something new. This is a new version of me. This is, I don't even want to say it's an upgrade. It's just a new version of me.
Well, what would you say to people who say that this is unnecessary?
I would say that that is the same logic that they used to tell people that wanted to transition, right? I just feel like it is not unnecessary if it is going to help you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because sometimes unnecessary is not that to someone else, if it is going to help you progress in your own evolution of the love for yourself and who you become and who you are.
It's interesting, though, that, like you said, it's a journey to love yourself more and to listen to yourself more. And then you did say you loved yourself before surgery anyway. Mm-hmm. And how has that love changed?
Absolutely has changed. I feel like it is me loving myself more, not because of the physical change. Like, it's got nothing, very little to do with that. It's more because I'm just so proud of how my body has sustained me. And like, I loved me before. And now this new version of me has grown and evolved. And there's new things I'm discovering about myself, not just physically, but emotionally. And I'm so proud of my body. I really am. And I think that's how that's changed. I'm just so amazed. I'm amazed.
That's really lovely. And I was just thinking about the idea, because I used to think, and I still kind of do, just to be perfectly honest, and I don't know how I'm going to ever resolve this. Like, is it inherently fat phobic to do stuff like this?
I get what you mean. I completely get what you mean. And I didn't really ever have a moment where I approached this as, I feel like it depends on how you approach it, I think, because I'm disgusted. It was never a decision that I made because I couldn't stand the sight of myself.
Yeah.
It was just because I knew that this version was under the loose skin
Yeah.
And before, I feel like I wore that loose skin as like this warrior regalia, you know, like that was my proof to myself that I had come and gotten myself to where I was. And now, instead of the skin, it's my scar, you know, which
I mean, ever since I've known you, and we've known each other for, what, 10 years at least, right?
at least, yeah.
I still remember you told me in the very, very beginning that you wanted to get a phoenix tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think across your back or something.
It was actually all down my side. Like it would start like run under the bra line and all the way down my leg.
Yeah. To symbolize transformation.
Yeah.
So,
but I didn't want to get it until I felt like I had really gone through not just the physical change, but the inner stuff. That was mostly what I wanted to get to.
So when you told me about you wanting surgery, I felt like it was in complete integrity with what you said, because ever since I've known you, you were like, I'm about to transform and I'm going to do these big markers or these things to capture my transformation. So it makes sense for you that is for completion. And I would love people to correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like a lot of people do not walk into plastic surgery with that mindset. It's like, help me fix my body because my body is not good enough for this world.
Yes. And that's where I think a lot of the stigma comes from. And I understand that completely, because they do walk in there with fix it, make it better. And that's their journey. I'm not chastising that at all. It's just that for me, I knew, because of who I am and how I approach myself in the world and my body, if I hadn't done the work where I wasn't in not complete, because we're not ever complete with it, but if I wasn't in sync with my body as it was, there was no way I was going to come out of this insanely monstrous undertaking without losing my mind, because it's a huge step. It's huge. They don't tell you that it's big, guys. Like, do your research. If anyone has questions, I am happy to answer them, because there is not enough information out there about the reality of it.
If I want to put myself in an empowered mindset to take on this journey, what advice would you give people, or what questions would you want people to ask themselves, or what work would you want people to do before they even go, okay, I'm ready to pursue surgery?
I think you have to get really honest with yourself about why you want it done. And that really goes back to asking yourself, do I want this to fix something? Because that, I think, is like really the starting point, because it's not going to. I'm going to tell you right now, it is not going to fix anything. Start with, if you think, I'm going to fix this, take that fix, root it in your brain, and ask yourself, what are you trying to fix? What is really going on? And look at that, because that's probably trauma. More than likely, it's trauma. Address that first. And I'm not saying you have to be totally healed. You know, it's like when they tell you, oh, be healed to find love. No, you don't have to be completely healed of that trauma, because it's an ongoing process forever, right?
Forever.
But like, really, really start to ask, get at the consequences. I Googled what the consequences of, let's say, a surgery that a body couldn't handle went through, right? The risks. Look at the risks and weigh them in your mind, not with the idea of, but I'll look the way I want to, because you actually don't know. You don't know. The results vary. And just because this girl is looking great and feeling good does not mean your results will be the same. Your healing will also be different, just because they healed. Get real with yourself. Are you ready? Are you ready to potentially not have any sensation there ever again? Are you ready to potentially have an infection happen? And are you ready to treat that? Are you financially too? Are you ready to take on if there's any doubt in your mind, if the word fix is anywhere in your mind, just circling around in there, look at that, grab that, and find that root, because it's trauma, and you've got to address that first. you have to address that first.
Our trauma rides us unless we address it. The other thing I was thinking about, people often go into surgery expecting it to be the magic bullet, and it is not. Whoever we are entering the surgery room or whatever it is we choose, it's still us the next day. So whatever problems that we have, whatever self-hatred and blah, 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 you wake up, it's still there.
And like physically too, you know, and I had a really excellent plastic surgeon, but he said, the better you look and feel coming in, the better you'll look and feel going out. So whatever your goal is, and that could be anything, right? You don't have to drop a bunch of weight. Your ideal body type, whatever that is, get there. And there are limitations. People go in there very overweight, right? And want to get liposuction or whatever. And it doesn't turn out, they're not happy after because they tried to make that the weight loss. And that's not how it works. Again, it is not the fix.
Well, here's the thing, right? We want a fix, and we also have got to accept our body's limitations. There's only so much our bodies are going to change and get to a certain point because we have different DNA, we're made differently, and there's age, there's all these different things. So I think that for me, the bottom line is this. No matter what we choose to do, my wish for humanity is to love themselves and to speak with their body without shame. Shame is the worst thing because it causes us to be in this like cycle. I would love it if everybody could get to the point where they are their, I hate to say the word best selves, but you are the version of you that you're comfortable in. We'll get to something where it's just like, I'm made differently. Our bodies are made differently. Evolutionary, we all come from different lineages, and we honor our ancestors and the people who come before us, saying, hey, this is it. Like the whole Asian light skin thing, where like that's the beauty thing, that's ridiculous because depending on your heritage, you're not going to all have light skin. So then what? You know, like there's some things that are just not changeable. And I wish we as humans can be okay with those differences. I think one of the biggest ways we will be able to move forward as a society is to share our stories and to share our perspectives. And in the book I'm writing, the manuscript I've written and I'm editing, I spend a lot of time talking about the different moments that I felt more empowered in my body, where something happened that brought me out of my body and I had to find my way back in. And so I would love if there's any story you're like, hey, I really... like a moment where you either fell in love with your body or you fell out of love with your body and then found your way back in. I think those are such rich stories that can change people's perceptions and heal.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think it was in 2021, I actually went to the hospital for a diverticulitis attack. And diverticulosis was something I didn't even know I had. My mom had it, my cousin had it, but I really didn't think it was something that I had because I was fine and I was healthy and I was okay, right? I do the healthy things. So when I got sent to the hospital emergency room, I didn't know what was going on. It really kind of shook me to my core, where it's like all these ideas that I had about my health were just sort of quashed in that moment. Like I felt so infinitely fragile. And I think that was the first time I actually dropped in to listening to my body for what it needed, you know? And I think that was right around the time that I had started to research plastic surgery and all that. I felt like it was really just like almost the universe being like, okay, you want to go this real crazy undertaking? Why don't you go ahead and have a look at yourself first? And I think that was really the start of me looking at the fix, right? And getting the root cause. And ever since that day, I think it's only been just a progression of really dropping into my body, listening to my body, and not being so caught up in everything else out there, because it isn't about what they can sell you to like whatever make you drop weight. It is about the inner work.
Yeah, that's so beautiful, because I just got off this call with these women who kept saying diseases and illnesses are alarm bells. It's time to perk up your ears and listen. There's so many things, and it just sounds like intuitively did that. And that's so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And what I would love is for people who are listening to please reach out, go to the website. I have a share our story button, and I'd love to hear from you, because I think the most beautiful thing is for us to share experiences. And by sharing our experiences, we get to transform the language that we all use, and then we will end up with a different space. So that is my wish for the world. And Steph, thank you so much for coming. You're fantastic. I love you so much. It's such a pleasure to know you and to like be a part of your transformation journey.
Thank you so much for having me. Like, it's an honor, truly. Like, I mean, when I first heard about your podcast, I was like, I have to. This is amazing.
Yeah, because we need, I think our stories are medicine. So here you are sharing your medicine with the world. So thank you for coming.